Hello. Just getting on here. Gonna do my video for my August class where we used Hey Chuck. What a fun stamp set Hey Chuck is. Let me grab that. There it is. Hey Chuck. There is our stamp set that we're going to be using today. Isn't he just cute? Cute. All right, so let me show you the two cards that we're going to make using Hey Chuck. First we have a gatefold, and you open it up and it pops up like that and then can stand like that. So how cute is he? And then we also have this one. It says you've got something to crow about. And I left the inside blank so that it could be crowing about anything. Crowing about doing a good job, crowing about a birthday, maybe Father's Day, maybe just because somebody is amazing or you'd like to send them a little thank you for something that they did. So that is what we're going to be working on this afternoon. And my hope is that tomorrow I can post the video for the September workshop. So let's go ahead and we are going to get started. We're going to make this card here. So I'm going to just set that right over here in the corner. And I have pre-cut and pre-die cut a lot of pieces. So here I need a sun. And I already have heat embossed, and I need that piece and this piece and this piece, it looks like. All right, so that's all the die cut pieces I need. And then I have a piece that I have already embossed with some chicken wire. And I believe that this chicken wire came from, oh gosh, it must have been Darice. I cannot remember. But anyway, it is embossed with the chicken wire already. And then we have the card base. And let's see, in here I have already pre-cut, pre-stamped some fences, and they are already cut out, so I will just color those. Let's see, I need 2 for the front, and I need a double for the inside. So I am going to use that one as a double. I stamped them close enough, and then, you know, the stamp set does come with dies for all of these things that you can see here. So here's the sun and the fence and the wind vane. All right, and then I will need some white paper for stamping, because I don't know that I have the birds stamped for this card, which is just fine. All right, so let me grab a piece of white scrap here. There we go. We're going to set this aside, and I'm going to grab the 2 stamps that I need. I need the Screaming Chicken, and I think for the inside I need the one wearing shorts. All right, so let me grab a block. One for him, and then a block for the other guy. All right. these are rubber mounted or red rubber, so they should stamp pretty nice. There we go. Oh, only need one of him. And I'm going to stamp this guy. All right. Looks like I might have to re-ink my pad. I'm going to re-stamp those guys on the back. And I'm going to grab a different pad. And hopefully it's a little more inky than that one. Oh yeah, that is so much better. And then this guy. Too cute. And I'm going to go ahead and close my ink pad. And we're going to spend just a little time coloring our two fences and our two birds. So the first one, it looks like I colored in some teals. And I think I'm going to use Pretty Peacock for him, dark and light. And then, of course, I always like to have my color lifter on hand. So let's go ahead and I'm going to start him. And the inside guy, he's the same color. So we're going to go ahead and start with some darker areas. Give him a little dimension. There we go. And then I'm going to put the darker line on the inside of his neck. There we are. And then he would have a little shadow underneath his scruff of his neck. There we are. A couple little lines, maybe a little shadow there. Here we go. We're going to start out there, and then if I need to come back after I have colored the lighter, I can come back and add some darker. All right. Go ahead and blend that out just a tad bit here. And I tend to like to use the bullet on my Stampin' Blends because I feel like I have a little more control and I can press a little harder without having to worry about ruining my tip of my marker. It's the other tip is really easy to ruin. So I'm going to come back in here and add a little bit of dark. And blend that back out. There we go. Now if you are transferring from Copics to Stampin' Blends, each type of marker has its own blending ability, and so you just have to find how to blend with each marker. And I find with, Copics, you can blend rather quickly. Like you can go in and lay on the color and you don't have any waiting time. But I notice with the blends, they like to dry a little between layers to get a better blend. So if you're having trouble blending your Stampin' Up! Blends, give them a little time in between layers. Okay. I'm not coloring, you're watching me in real time right now. I'm not racing through, and sometimes you need to give your paper a little time to breathe in between layers with the blends. Otherwise, you can totally oversaturate your paper and then your blends will bleed. And so giving that little bit of dry time in between each color will definitely help prevent that bleeding that I sometimes have seen with the blends. Okay. All right, so I think we're done. And you know, you can always go back after it dries a little bit and blend more. You just don't want to blend too much at one time because it will definitely cause some bleeding. And now I'm just going to take my colorless blender here and I'm just adding some highlights where that color is a little darker. So you can definitely use your color lifter as a tool to help you lighten up areas if you have gone way too dark. All right, so that's what he looks like so far. I did use that color lifter you saw to add some highlighted areas. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do his beak and his shorts and his legs and rock this guy out. All right, so I think I will do his beak in dark and light pumpkin pie. And then I'm just going to use a little light sorbet for his tongue and his wattle. Just one color. There's not enough really there to do more than a dark and a light. Okay. Then I'm going to take my dark pumpkin pie and I'm going to go on the inside of his mouth because that would definitely be darker. And at the tops of his legs on both. And then I'm going to use the light pumpkin pie for the outside of his mouth. There we are. And the bottom of his legs. There we go. And you'll see I got a little bit out of the lines there, so I'm just going to take my color lifter and kind of try to erase that a little bit. And then I'm going to color his shorts with dark and light bubble bath. So I'm going to color all of the shorts with the light bubble bath because I'm going to go back over the top, the polka dots with the dark. And then that way I don't have to color around all those little circles, little polka dots. There we are. Actually, I think I'm going to bring in Flirty Flamingo and I'm going to dot that just a little bit so they're a little bit more brighter dots. There we go. All right, so there those guys are. Now let's go ahead and I'm going to color my fences. And I'm going to use deep 700 and medium deep 400 to color the fences. Okay, and I'm just putting in the dark where the shadows would be. Just like that. And I feel like the bottoms would be a little bit darker than the tops. So color that. And then I'm going to bring in the medium light and finish coloring my fence posts. There we go. Sorry, got off a little bit off screen there. Now, if you're not using Stampin' Blends, of course, you can use Copics. I am a big Copic fan. And I think on my Facebook page, I actually posted for the original cards what colors I used. So you can go check that out if you are so inclined to want to do that. All right, so there's the first 2 fence posts. Let's go ahead and rock out the last, and then we will have all the coloring done for this card. Coloring them after they're cut is a little bit difficult. It's just a little harder because you can't, there's less to hold on to. But, you know, we'll make it work. All right, go back to this one because it's already had a little bit of dry time. Here we go. And then the last little fence. All right. The lids on those. Looks like I missed a spot right there. Color that. All right, now I am going to grab my little mini die cut machine, and this is just a Sizzix Sidekick by Tim Holtz. See, and you can get these on Amazon. I do like them better than the ones that Stampin' Up! Has. Yeah, it cuts just so much better. So much better. All right, so here we go. Put this on here. I do need to trim this piece down because obviously it's not going to fit in this little machine. So we just trim it down so it will fit. There we go. All right. And I like this one because it will like strap it, like not strap, but you know, attach to your table so it's not wobbly. I'm going to get some pink tape here so I can tape my dies in place because I would really hate for them to move. There we go. Got too much tape there. All right, so I am going to just lay these here, and then I'm going to line up my die like so. And I am going to tape it down on both sides, so because I really don't want it to move. There we go. And then we have this crazy guy. He is pretty cute. I think he's probably my favorite of the set. It's got something to scream about. Or crow about, I guess. Haha. All right. We'll bring this here and run it right through. All right. So those guys are done. Set that guy over there and over there. And I'm going to quickly cut out my fences. I have 2 of them here, so I will have to run this through twice. But you know what? Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't even separate them. Let's just not separate them. So I'm going to run this through until I get close to the middle, but not quite. So that it doesn't... Oh, it did cut all the way through. I tried. Oh, well. Not a big deal. Okay. Let's set that on there. Okay, there are all of our fences. Set my die cut machine to the side for now. We have all of our pieces. I am going to trim this down before I get started on anything else, because this piece needs to be cut down to 4 inches. So this is the piece that has your chicken wire, and it needs to be trimmed down to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. 4 inches by 5 1/4. Okay, so that's just slightly smaller than the front of our card base. I'm going to take all these pieces over here, and I'm going to set my card over here. And I'm going to grab a blending brush. And so you're going to need a blending brush. And some, oh, you know what? I think that was balmy. I think this was balmy blue. If not, if this was not the right color, we'll fix it. But that's looking like the right color. All right. So I'm just adding some blue right there in the middle. You can go as dark or as light as you want. Okay. Not quite to the edges, but there we go. Now I'm going to take an acrylic block, and I'm just going to put some blue on there. I know it's kind of hard to see. Then I'm going to spray a little bit of water. And I'm going to take that and flick it on there. But this might not be the right color blue. It will work, but I think I would like some Tahitian Tide. Something a little brighter than the balmy blue. So I'm just going to add that on there, just like that. So I added a little Tahitian Tide with that water. And now I'm just going to flick. Or you can tap on the side of your block. Get as little or as much ink as you would like. And splatter it. Yeah. Different taps will give you different size splatters, so these ones are a little bit bigger. And then I'm just going to take some water and put it in my little tray here so I can wash my brush out. You know, because I don't know that I'll be using it again for blue. And I want to make sure my brush is clean before I put it away. There we go. Wipe off my block and put that paper towel in there, and it is good to go. All right, so that is what our front looks like. Okay, so now I'm going to take all the pieces, and I'm going to put all the pieces on my front as shown. All right, so I'm going to first glue down my fence pieces like that. Let me grab my glue. And yes, I still use our glitter glue. It's just in this little tube here. Set my pin right there. All right, so we're going to glue our fence down flat. Okay, and I'm going to leave like a little gap in the middle because, well, the center will be covered. And I'm going to grab a pair of tweezers because sometimes using tweezers to put your stuff down is just a little bit easier. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to take my circle and I'm going to grab some yellow ink and I'm going to sponge on some yellow. And you could use any yellow ink that you would like. Let me grab something to sponge on. All right, here's just a little scratch paper here. And I'm just going to sponge in the middle, okay? So that the center of my sun will be just slightly darker than the rays, okay? And that's all that sponging I will need to do. Go ahead and close that ink pad. All right. Now using my dimensionals, I have my minis. Somewhere I have the regular size ones. Here we go. So I am going to put one big dimensional on that part of the sun, and I am going to pop it up on this circle. And then I am going to take another dimensional and put it on the white part of the sun. And I am going to kind of connect it right there in the middle. Put them side by side, just like so. All right, then I'm going to take my Screaming Chicken and I'm going to put dimensionals, mini dimensionals, all over the back of him, because he is going to also get popped up on the sun. And you can kind of pick and choose. So I have my sun kind of tilted. I think he will look good right there. And I'm going to just lay this here because I need to decide where I want to put this. So I think right there will look good. So I'm going to take that off and I'm going to put some glue on, just a little bit of glue on the back of my wind vane here. If you feel like you get too much glue, you can tap it off on your arm so that you don't get the ooze. There we go. Now I'm going to take some more dimensionals and put them all over the back of this circle. That stuck to my finger. And one in the middle. And I'm just going to put just a little bit of glue on each one of these dimensionals because that's going to give me just a little bit of wiggle room when I go to put this on. So that way I can make sure I get it right where I want it. All right, now I am going to take my sentiment that says you've got something to crow about, and I'm just going to trim it out with my scissors as straight as I can. If you had a small rectangle die, you could certainly use that as well. And then I'm going to just take this edge of my dimensionals there and pop that right on there. So that's your card front. Now let's go ahead and I'm going to score my card base using my trimmer. Put my pin back in my glue. And I'm going to score this at 5.5. Now remember your card base, this piece of paper measures 4 1/4 by 11, and I'm scoring it at 5.5. And when you are folding on the score line, you want to fold away from you. So it was like this was the top that I scored on. I want to fold away, and that will prevent cracking, and then you won't have that on the outside of your card. Take my bone folder, give it a good press. Now I am going to pop this piece up on the front of my card, but I am going to use my foam strips for that. So I will probably use 3, so I just take 3 off. And 1. These are pretty thin. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 more, and then I'll stick the rest of this right back onto the sheet that I pulled it off of, and I will save it for later. All right, peel the backs off of these. We're going to pop this guy right up in the center of our card. All right, we have a couple little pieces left that we're going to put glue on and glue flat on the inside. And then we will add our bling to the front. Okay, a little glue on the middle of that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on the middle of this guy. And you can have them connecting or not. This little chicken is going to go right in the center and cover up that gap. I'm going to actually turn this over. And there we go. So something to crow about. All right, now for the bling. Maybe. I might have to come back to that because I don't know where. Oh, here they are. So I use some loose silver sequins, but you could certainly use rhinestones or anything. But how beautiful are these? And they'd be great. This would be great for shaker cards. And I'm going to hold up the original card for you so you can kind of see how subtle they are. Like you can kind of see where they are. You know, there's a couple up here and there. So I'm just going to add a few, but keep in mind, this part does not make or break your card. It just gives it a little something, something. All right, so I'm going to use my tool here. My take your pick tool right here. Hopefully, maybe. I think I need a refill. All right, here is a refill for my take your pick tool. Let's see if I can get it working. Maybe. We'll see if I get to use it or not. Guess I don't know how to get these things started. Well, I'm going to use my other one and I'll have to play with that later. So this is just a little blingy jewel picker. So I'm going to add just dots of glue where I'm going to add the bling. Again, it's very, very subtle, so you may not even notice it. There's that. And my glue dries clear, so go. And one more. There we go. And that's it. That is the first card is complete. There you go. And I'm going to take a second and put my stamp on the back so I don't forget. And I didn't stamp the original, so I'll do both of them. And then we'll get ready to do the second card. Ooh, that was kind of blurry. Oh well, it will work. All right, here is our second card, and we started out with a blue piece of cardstock. And I bet I threw away my note today when I was cleaning. And my note wasn't on there with all of these measurements. So let me look and see. Hopefully I didn't throw away my measurements. If not, it will be okay. We'll figure it out. I'm not seeing them, but that's okay. We are going to start with our blue piece of, this is Blueberry Bushel. This is one of our new colors. And this piece measures 5.5 inches by 8. So this one measures 5.5 by 8. And we're going to start off by scoring at 2 inches from each end. So I'm going to just grab my scoreboard for this, and I'm going to be going back and forth between my scoreboard and my cutter. So I'm going to score at 2 inches here, and then I'm going to flip, and I'm going to score at 2 inches here. All right, so we have those two score marks. Then I'm going to switch to my cutter, and I believe this cut mark is 1.25 inches. Maybe I should look at the back. Yeah. Yep, 1.25 inches. So using our trimmer, we're going to line it up with the 5.5 inch side at the top. And I'm going to line it up at 1.25 inches. And I'm going to cut from the 2 inch mark to the 6 inch mark in between the two score marks, okay? So I'm going to go from 2 to 6, okay? Just like that. See how that looks like there? And then now I'm going to rotate my piece, and I'm going to do the same cut again. And I'm going to cut, line it up at 1.25. But my blade is at the 6 inch mark, so I'm going to start at the 6 inch mark this time. And I'm just going to go up to the 2 inch mark, okay? So that's what it looks like now. Now I'm going to go back to my scoreboard, okay? And I'm going to score the center piece just in the middle here at 3 inches from both sides. So there's 3 inches, and then I'm going to rotate, come over here, and I'm going to come down, and I'm going to score at the 3 inch mark again, okay? There we go. There's our two score marks. Then, because this is 8 inches, I would like to score in the middle, right at 4, but just in the top and the bottom. So I'm going to just score from here to the cut line, and then I'm going to flip my paper over, and I'm going to score from 4 inches down to the cut line again. All right, so those are all of our score marks. So This was 2 inches and 3 inches. And then I rotated 2 inches and 3 inches. And then the center one at the top and the bottom measures 4 inches. Okay. Now I am done with that part. All right, so I'm going to show you how to fold. I am going to fold on the left side or the right side over and burnish. And then I'm going to fold the left side over and I'm going to burnish, okay? So there's those two. Then the middle one, I'm going to bring up and fold, and the bottom one. So now we have it like that. Then these two here, I'm also going to fold backwards. So you have options when mailing this card. I opted to use the gatefold. However, you could have it like this, or however you want, as long as when they open it, it pops out just like that. See that? All right, so that's our card base. Now we're going to cut the paper for your card base. And I've given everybody a full sheet of the 6x6 gingham in Blueberry Bushel. So we know that this piece is 2 inches wide by 5.5, and we're going to cut 1/8 of an inch off of that. So I need 2 pieces that measure 1 7/8 by 5 3/8. So 1 7/8 and 1 7/8. I'm going to take this piece to the side because I'm still going to use it. I'm going to rotate, and now I'm going to cut it at 5 3/8. And then I'm going to cut my other piece at 5 3/8. Okay, just like that. All right, while we have that measurement in our head, we're going to take that other piece of white paper that is embossed, and we're going to cut it down to 5 3/8. And then 2 pieces that are 1 7/8. 1 7/8 this way, and 1 7/8 this way. And that is scrap. Okay, so these 2 pieces will go on the back side. So I'm just going to slide those under there. All right, now we have this scrap left. First, I'm going to cut it down to 1 7/8. And then I need 4 pieces that measure 1 1/8. 1 1/8. 1 1/8. 1 1/8. And 1 1/8. And so that leftover piece is scrap as well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue all the pieces on that I just cut. All right, so you have 2 sides. You could do either side here. And then these pieces I flipped and used the back sides. But again, this is your card, so you could totally glue these on however you would like. All right, just gonna glue this piece on. There we go. And I'm going to hold off on gluing these two pieces for now. We have just a little bit more stamping and die cutting to do. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my white scrap for that. Here we are. And I need this chicken and a piece of fence. And I need this chicken and a piece of fence and a cupcake. So let me go ahead and grab my stamps. I should wipe off my other one so I can use that block again. And I have to use a baby wipe. There we go. Just make sure if you are using a baby wipe, you do not set it on anything that you don't want ruined. Okay. All right. I need a fat chicken and I need a crazy chicken. And then this piece here, I believe, is what goes here in the center. Let me just test that. Yep, there we go. And then on that piece, I'm going to stamp "It's Your Birthday." All right. You know what I think I'm going to also do? I'm going to stamp my fence right there on that piece, so then I don't have to die cut it. Just need to grab another block. There we go. Okay. Grab my ink pad. I need one fence right here. There we go. And then I need one fence here. I need "It's Your Birthday." There we go. I need me a big fat chicken. And then we need another silly chicken. There we go. Perfect. All right, I am going to go ahead and grab my fence colors again. That was 400 and 200, and I'm going to color my fence. Now this one, since it's flat on my piece, I want to make sure that I don't go out of the lines because, you know, it'll be a little harder to cover up if I were to go out of the lines. There we go. And then I'm going to color my other fence. There we go. Now I'm going to grab a couple other browns for my front chicken. And I am going to use Dark and Light Pecan Pie and Medium 600 and Medium Light 800. So let's go ahead and do his head and his tail feathers. Okay. That's the dark pecan pie. And now I'm going to come in with the lighter. And I really feel like this would be a good ground color. So I'm going to add some ground to that other piece that has the fence on it. Here it is. There we go. Just a little bit of ground there. And now I'm going to take my medium 600 and I'm going to do his eyebrows, or I guess they're his eyelids. And I'm just going to give him a little color on the dots that are in the feathers that are already there from the stamp. And then maybe just a little bit of shading underneath his hair. And then I'm going to color the rest of him in with medium light 800. Went around the edges of the bullet tip. Now I'm just going to use the edge of my marker as to not bust up my tip. Okay. And there we go. Now he's a little darker than the original, but I think he is cute. So I don't think I need those two colors anymore. I'm going to grab my dark pumpkin pie. I got some ink down there, but I don't know how. For his little feetses and his beak. Okay, this guy's little beak and his legs. Now let's go ahead and look at the original chicken. Oh, I did not stamp the cupcake or the cake, so I'm gonna do that right now while I'm thinking about it. There we go. Try that again. There, that's much better. Okay. I'll set those off to the side so I can clean them later. I don't need those ink brushes anymore. Man, I sure make a mess, don't I? All right, so let's go. So I have some blueberry bushel and some yellows and some oranges and some greens going on inside him. If you want to go ahead and take a screenshot, now would be a good time. Otherwise, you can color him with me. Now, again, these were done with Copic, so I'm going to do what I can with Stampin' Up! All right, we're gonna try all of these colors to see how well I can come up with a blend. All right, so I am going to start with my dark and light blueberry bushel. And I am just gonna come in and I'm just gonna do the tips of his feathers with the dark blueberry bushel. That's it, just the tips of his feathers and the top of his hairpiece, headpiece, okay? And then now I'm going to come in with the light blueberry bushel, and I'm going to blend that just a little bit further down from the tips. So I'm working to get some sort of gradient, okay? That's what I'm working for here. All right. Then I'm just going to take Azure Afternoon. I'm going to test this over here. I like that. All right, so I'm going to blend that from the blueberry bushel down a little bit further. There we go. You know, overlapping, dragging that darker color into the lighter color to kind of try and get some sort of blend. Now I'm going to take the light Azure Afternoon, and I'm going to keep going, keep going just a little bit on the hair. Now I'm coming in with, I think I'm going to start with the light Tahitian Tide. Okay. There we go. So you can kind of see on this one here, I need to have a little bit more of a transition. So I'm only going to put the dark Tahitian Tide on that piece. And then in the very butt, okay, so here's where we are so far. Give you a better look. And I feel like I need to add a little bit of maybe the Parakeet Party in here and then right there. So I'm going to take the lighter Parakeet Party and I'm going to just kind of overlap what's already there and overlap what's already there. All right, so there. That's what I've done so far. All right, so that, I think that's all the blues and greens that I'm going to use. But I think I need to grab some pumpkin pie. Some light pumpkin pie at least. All right, so I'm going to color his eyelids with the light pumpkin pie. And then I am going to take the light pumpkin pie and I'm going to go around where the darkest areas would be. Okay, right there underneath his ruffle, around his ruffle. Okay. And probably around this side of his cheek. Then I'm going to take, let's try this one here. This one is Dark Daffodil Delight. And I'm going to just kind of blend out a little bit. And I'm just going in little circles to help with that blend. Okay. So here's where we are right now. Can you see where we're at there? Now I'm going to take the light Daffodil Delight and I'm going to finish coloring in his body. There we go. And there we go. He's pretty close to my original. I'm pretty impressed with him. All right, and then I'm going to, obviously, I'm going to set all these markers aside, and I need to, I'm going to actually, maybe I'll do his cake in those two colors. And I used the light sorbet for his waddle before, so I'm going to add that. And let's go ahead and color the cake. So I'm going to put some blue frosting on the top. And then I think the bottom, I'm just going to do green. This Dark Parakeet Party. Now, I had a purple one on the card, and it's okay. Completely different. And I'm going to add a little bit of a yellow flame. And let's put in a pink candle. There we go. Just a little bit there. Okay, so now we are ready to die cut all of these, and then we will finish our card. All right. Gotta cut these down so they'll fit in my mini die cut machine. Trash, trash. There we go. And all of this is trash. All right, let's go ahead and die cut this little dude. This guy right here. Take my little tape him down. All right, so he's done. And now I need to find my fat chicken die, which is missing. Unless this is it. Maybe this guy is it. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and line him up best I can. I'm going to run him through. And my fence piece. There it is. And I could probably do my cupcake at the same time. So let me grab my cupcake and put him on here. He even gets his little shine marks cut out. How cute is that? All right. Go ahead and run these two things through. And then we will be done. There's that piece. And there's my little cupcake. Now, on my original card, I took some leftover blue ink, and I didn't dip my brush anymore. I just went with whatever ink I still had on my brush and kind of gave a little bit of blue sky. Okay? Perfect. All right, so everything on this card is glued flat. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the back of this piece. And I'm going to glue him right in the center. There you are. And then this little chicken. Sorry, I knew I was going to do that at some point during this video. I mean, how can you not cluck a little bit when you are playing with chickens? All right. And you want to keep him on the panel. Okay, and he is checking out his little birthday cake. Little glue on the back of that. There we go. So that is the inside of our card. Now, you'll notice on the outside of my card, oh gosh, I lost everybody. Hold on. Okay. I hope everybody's still there. Like, I looked up and my computer was black. Okay, so if you look here, I ink blended the bottom. You can totally do that, but for the video today, I am not going to ink blend. I am just going to glue these flat. Now, I am going to put the raised side glued down so that the indented side is on the front, because this is essentially where you would probably want to sign your card. And I feel like it might be a little bit easier to sign it if it wasn't all raised. Okay. And there we go. There's those two pieces. So you can totally ink blend if you would like. I kind of did an ombre thing. Now finally, you have a strip of paper. And I'm just going to hold my card closed. And my paper is straight with my grid lines. Make sure my card is straight with my grid lines. And I'm just going to fold this over. And then I'm going to fold this over. And you can trim this. I'm going to trim this piece just a smidge so it's not so long. There we go. And now I'm going to just put a little bit of glue right there. And then I'm going to hold that down. Okay. I don't want the glue to ooze. So this is your belly band. Now I'm going to put just again, I don't want my glue to ooze. So I'm just going to put a smidgen of glue right there across the middle, and I'm going to glue that down. And then I'm going to glue my chicken over here to this side, just in the middle. So I'm just going to put a little smidge of glue right there. And my chicken is now on my card. So then you can pull the belly band off. Ooh. Oh, it's catching on the back. There we go. And ta-da! There we are. Perfect. All right, so I hope that you all enjoyed today's video in class. And I am going to work, I say this every month, and you know, one day I'm actually going to do it. I am going to be ahead of the game. So I am going to spend the rest of today crafting and cutting paper for Hostess Club for September. I do have those cards designed, so here is a little sneak peek. Isn't that beautiful? And where is my other card? And I will give you a sneak peek of that as well. Maybe. Or not, because, oh, it's back here. I set it behind me. Okay, here is the other card that we're going to do. Isn't that gorgeous? So, lots of fun techniques next month. 2 beautiful fall cards with stamps and dies from the upcoming holiday mini that you may order from beginning on September 6th. So I look forward to seeing you all next time. Have a wonderful Labor Day weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.